Hi my guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Caro, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about self-love and being comfortable in your own skin and your own body. The length of time it took me to love myself, to love the way I look, to love the way my body is and everything. I'm not an expert, you guys. I just want to tell you guys a little bit of my situation, my little background story. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I am 30 years old. I have three beautiful children. I have a girl and two boys. My daughter is 10, my son is 7, and my little baby boy is 2. Start off with saying when I was young, I started high school like I think at 14 years old. So maybe even before that, I want to have to say maybe in 7th and 8th grade. I was always small, like I was very petite. But more of my memory was when I was in high school. I was very, very tiny. I was a 000, 0, or a 1. Like the most, I was a 1. And I just remembered always being tiny, very, very small. So I was 19. When I was still 20 years old, but right before I had my daughter, I was very tiny and petite. The most I ever weighed was like 115 pounds during summer. During like regular time of school, I was always like 108. And so right before, well, when I was 20, when I didn't know I was pregnant yet, one day I went to the beach with a group of friends, and I remember putting on these Van Caprice pants and looking in the mirror. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, why does it fit me like this? And what's going on with this muffin top? Like, what is going on? Why am I getting bigger? Like, what happened? Like, what changed? Whatever. And I cried, you guys. I cried. I was like, oh my god, like I was never used to being like that, you guys. I've always was very small. I always had a flat stomach and didn't know where it was coming from. I still went to the beach. I still wore my bathing suit. It was a 2-piece, and so you could see my stomach, but I just wasn't happy. I had those little rolls that would go over my pants, and I had a little muffin top. And so okay, days later I found out I was pregnant, and so I was like, oh, that's why. I'm like, okay, I get it. Everyone tells me, you had kids, it's okay. I know that. But when you're used to being a certain size for so long, you're used to that. And then out of nowhere, you're getting pregnant, and we really don't ever prepare ourselves. Like, we barely prepare ourselves to even have children. There's no manual to those. You just, like, you can learn and whatever. No matter what, doesn't matter if it's your first, second, or your third baby, fourth, whatever baby it is, you still learn things that you've never knew. So, again, I knew I was gonna, my stomach was gonna grow and everything. That I knew, but I wasn't sure how it all worked. Everyone's body's different, I didn't know if my body was gonna bounce back or whatever. I wasn't so worried about it at the time. I remember like, oh, don't eat salt. Yeah, sure. I'm over here 8 months pregnant, making tortilla chips and putting salt and lemon, the one thing they told me not to do. And when I had my daughter, I was 165, you guys, 165. So it was a whole lot of weight. When after I had her, I only went down to like, I think 130. The least was like 125, I want to say. So after that, I remember being like a size 3 and a 5 in jeans and stuff like that. My shirts were all medium now. They weren't extra small or small. There were mediums and maybe here and there a small. So it was a process. Like, I really didn't care as much, but I did feel uncomfortable. But I never did anything for myself. So anyways, I had her. I didn't care. I was in love with my daughter, you guys. She is my world. She was everything to me at the time. It was just only her. I didn't care for anything else. 2 years later, I had my second son, and they both became my world. When I had my son, when I was pregnant of him, actually, this is a little hard for me to say because not many people know this. But yes, I had depression throughout my pregnancy. And people who know me and know how thin I was during that time might understand now, like, why. But yes, I had depression, I had anxiety, and I developed years later, maybe like 2 years later, I developed insomnia. So I still have all three. Yay. When I was pregnant for my second baby, my body changed drastically again. Right before I had him, before I even got pregnant, I was maybe a size 3 or something like that, or no more than a 5. I was between a 3 and a 5. And keep in mind, right before I even had my daughter, I was always like a 00 to a 1. I had her and I became like a 3 and between 3 and a 5, and I kept being a 3 and a 5. When I got pregnant with my son, like legit, I lost everything. Like I lost the butt that I had. I mean, my boobs have never always been big, but I was just flat, like flat. I had, you could see my collarbone, like everything. It was very, very, like I really look like I was sick. And yeah, so my family would tell me like, oh my god, you're really thin, blah blah blah, but I never cared. I never took in consideration. I was just like, whatever. It didn't come to me or hurt me until my godfather said, I'm disappointed in you. You let yourself go, and I'm very disappointed in you. I was like, I don't think anyone has ever told me that. I cried. I cried, you guys, and I did everything in my power to change, and I did. And so I was always hiking. I started eating more and everything like that, and I gained weight again. I was back to wearing a 5 and a 6, I think, in jeans. It was hard with dealing with the depression. Again, it was more hard because I felt like I wanted to keep it to myself, and it wasn't until this year where I learned that it's not okay. It's not okay to keep it to yourself, and it's very, very hard because I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, it's really nothing, or it's, you know, whatever, like, oh, you're just having problems. It's like, no, you guys, depression is a real thing, anxiety is a real thing, and having insomnia on top of that, it's very hard. So my depression, again, was on and off. I got it really, really bad when I became pregnant with my third son. I had it throughout my whole pregnancy, actually. And if you know me, you know how much I love crafting. I really love crafting, and I couldn't even do that. I couldn't even get out of bed. I was still working, but it was very hard. Nothing seemed fun for me anymore, nothing. And I had just bought one of those quick cut machines, and I used it for maybe like 2-3 times, and after that I stopped using it, and used it until I was like maybe 8 months pregnant or something. But throughout that time I was like, oh, did you use it? I was like, no. It's like, whatever. Anyway, so after I had my son, I started losing a lot of weight, but I was always very insecure, you guys. My insecurities came from my stretch marks. I was never okay with them. It took me legit 9 years to love my stretch marks. I was 29 the day I remember telling someone, I was like, dude, I'm in love with my stretch marks. Like, I love them. Like, I'm good with them, you know? And people was like, oh, well, why? They're just stretch marks. It's a lot to take in, you guys. Like, again, I was used to being a certain size for a very long time, and then I kept going back and forth. It was very hard to maintain it. And overall, I feel like I just didn't know much about self-love until last year. I want to say, well, I learned about it, I guess you could say. I learned the whole self-love when I had my second son. My first son, with, you know, doing things for myself. But I feel like it wasn't a whole 100% self-love. I kept learning about it. Last year, I would still tell people, like, I think I love myself very, very well. No, I didn't, because I wasn't okay with my body. I finally did become okay with my stretch marks, but I wasn't still okay with my stomach. Like, it made me uncomfortable. Like, I was just like, I don't know, I just didn't like it. People would see me, and I'm just like, I don't know, I didn't like it. And I started doing things for myself. You know, I went back to that. So as much as you practice it, you got to keep practicing it. It's very hard because we get used to it, and we're like, okay, I'm good, like I'm not gonna forget it. No, it somehow slowly slips out. You have to keep practicing self-love. It's a practice that, you know, keeps on going, and it gets bigger and it gets bigger. You get wiser and everything about it. So again, I did things to where I was comfortable. I started exercising. I didn't want to lose so much weight drastically. It was just my stomach that I was not okay with. Like, I hated the overlapping and everything like that, the whole muffin top thing that was going on. I just didn't like it. And I still have one when I sit down, but I've learned to love it. I'm okay with it. I'm fine the way I am, because I feel like now when I do stand up and I'm standing, like, it's, my stomach's not flat, it's there, but it's enough for me. And I don't know, I think I'm just happy right now that I can maintain the weight I am. I'm able to wear crop tops, and I'm okay with my stretch marks showing. I do not care if they show. If people look at me like that, it's like, yes, I have 3 beautiful children. They give me those, and I'm very, very proud of it. Like, that's just how I feel about it. And honestly, I just hope that anyone who does have them eventually, or does feel like that, you know, be proud of it, because our body changes, you know, we all, and it's hard. We have to learn to accept things. We have to learn to love things. We all have flaws and imperfections, and you have to learn to love those as well. And I feel that I have learned a lot of that. And I don't know, it's just, I hope that no one's taking this long as much as I did to learn to love my stretch marks. I really don't. But if it does, I mean, I hope one day you do love them as much as I love mine, you guys. It took me 9 years. It took me 9 years, and it's taken me 10 since after I became a size 3. Now I'm actually, right now, I fit into a size 8 and a 10, you guys. It's about that thing, yeah. I think the smallest I could fit into is, I think, a 7. I don't think of 6 anymore, 7. But I'm between an 8 and a 10. A lot of my clothes are 8s and 10s, or my jeans or pants, whatever, are 8 and 10s. Shirts, I do small, mediums are like a good, okay fit. Smalls are still okay as well. But I do like a lot of men's shirts and stuff like that, so I wear like a medium or a large depending on how long I want it. So yeah. But yeah, I just honestly hope that everyone learns the self-love. There's a lot of things that I do not know about it still, that I'm continuing to learning, that I'm still learning from it. It wasn't until this year where I realized that I really did not love myself as much as I said I would. Last year was just always like, oh yeah, dude, I was doing this for me. Everyone's like, dude, you look good. Like, what are you doing? I was like, you know what? I'm doing things for me. You know, I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning to do this and this and that. And it wasn't until about 3 months ago or something like that, where a friend of mine invited me to an ayahuasca ceremony. And it wasn't until then, when I walked out of that ceremony, where I'm just like, yo, I did not love myself as much as I said I did. Like, I love myself, but I wasn't in love with myself. And coming out of that, I learned to be in love with myself, you guys. Like, I am in love with myself right now, and I'm happy, and I hope everyone feels like that. And I hope, or if not, I hope you guys all get there one day, because it's one of the most beautiful things ever. Mama Ayahuasca taught me so many things that, again, that's a whole different thing, but she taught me, and she made me see the things that I was doing to myself, the damage that I was doing to myself, what could be the outcome if I continued to doing the things that I was doing, which wasn't loving myself. And I remember, like, just crying about it. Like, I'm like, oh my god, I really was doing that. Like, dude, that's horrible. But again, I'm still learning from it. I'm still doing my steps to get to that. And right now, though, I think my biggest step was being able to be okay in wearing the clothes that I like. You know, when I was younger, I would wear short shirts and, you know, whatever. I mean, I guess we get all to a certain age where we shouldn't be wearing those, people say. But I mean, I don't know. As long as you feel comfortable, wear whatever you want, you know. So I do like wearing crop tops, and I feel comfortable wearing them. Like, I am telling you, I think I've learned to love every single stretch mark that I have. And it's a beautiful thing, actually. It's a very, very beautiful thing. And it's just one of those things that I didn't know how to learn to love myself. It took me a while, you guys, and I hope that if you're going through anything like that, I hope you learn as faster than I did. I'm telling you, 10 years. Right now, when I sit down, I do have my stomach. I do, but I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. And I used to be one of those like shy people when I'd be in a car with somebody. It's like, nope, covering myself and everything. And no more. No more, you guys. I really don't. And I do want to say everyone has a different self-love caring. Again, my flaws I felt were not loving myself like that. I didn't learn to love myself the way I should have when it came to after having children. And some people have these issues, you guys, and don't even have children. I'm good. I've learned to love it and embrace what I have, my little stomach and everything, and I'm good with it, you guys. And I feel like a lot of people don't know how to be comfortable, and it's not by watching or looking at other people who are thin or who are bigger size or anything like that. You have to remember it's how you feel in your own skin and how you feel in your own body. Don't ever try to compare yourself to anyone else. Always think of yourself. Feel how comfortable you are. And I feel like everyone knows. I hope that if you're going through anything like that, I hope you learn as faster than I did. I'm telling you, 10 years of having to learn that our body changes. And I knew that it was always up to me how I wanted to be and how I would be, you know. But it was always a back and forth thing, because when I got skinny, I got too skinny. When I gained weight, for me, it was overweight. I felt unhealthy. Learn to accept that you have to do it for yourself. It's not for anyone else. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. It's like, I really hope that everyone going through something, you know, gets through it. I really do. Because I have friends that don't have children and they go through a weight situation. Friends that do have children and are going through it. Or friends that are thin and have stretch marks. Friends that aren't thin and have stretch marks. Like, we all have a story. We all have a story to tell. And I really hope that one day everyone does feel comfortable to tell their own story. It took me, again, 10 years, 3 kids later, to accept that I'm not that petite girl anymore. And now I've been in this body longer than I can remember being that petite girl. And I'm happy. I really am happy, and I'm happy that I have these stretch marks. I felt that I used to be like, oh no, but I don't want people to know I have stretch marks. What the hell? No. But no, I don't care now. I really don't. I have beautiful stories of my labor experiences, and so much that I'm very, very proud of them now. Like, I never saw it that way. It was always just like, oh, you had kids. It's like, why does everyone say that? Like, y'all need to explain more. But yes. But, you know, sometimes people have stretch marks without having kids. And I know I did. I had stretch marks on my chest and stretch marks on my thighs before I even had kids. And I was very petite, like I told you guys. And I was like, how the hell does that happen? Like, I don't know. But yeah, you guys, I really hope you guys have enjoyed my process of my little story on how long it took me to become comfortable in my own skin and my own body. And I do want to thank every single person in my life that has encouraged me, that has told me beautiful things, who have told me the truth even though it hurts, that has told me anything, that has always kept this smile on my face, you guys, because I love my smile. That is one of the biggest things that I could tell you that I love about myself, my smile. And I've been told that my smile is everything, and I might sound so cocky, you guys, but it is. My smile is everything to me, at least. So yeah. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did not, well, to each its own.